Okay guys, I haven't done a review of one of my own games for a while, but I played this game this morning on PandaNet that was super exciting. It was one of those, another one of those games, and I know I've said this before, but this is one of the reasons I love Go and why I play Go, because you get these occasional encounters where the game is dramatic, it has twists and turns, and you have to constantly kind of grip yourself and battle your way through, try and read the board, try and read your opponent, seek advantage, all of that. Mistakes were made on both sides, but we fought it through right through to the end with some big exchange of territory and some exciting co-fights. So I thought it'd be worth having a look at this game. So in this game I'm black against an opponent who's white. Obviously, the Comey I think was 6.5, so it was quite a tight game. So I took upper right corner. This is going to be familiar to you. Lower left corner is my opponent. I take this 3-4, the 3-4 Kokomo in the lower right hand corner, because I'm setting up the high Chinese opening at Q9. So my opponent comes quite a long way out of that corner. My opponent I think wants to set up a Shimari, so I make the high Chinese opening as planned. And my opponent makes a very wide extension in the top left hand corner. It's a big extension. That's a 1 2 3 4 5 6 A to F times 3, 20-point corner. That's a big corner, but black gets the first approach. So to stop that 20-point corner extending out any more, I played at K17 just to see what my opponent would do. My opponent then came inside. Now what I first did was approach from the corner to make my corner strong and to capture the points, and to also pincer the M stone, which is a little bit far out on its own. That pincered stone is probably going to have to jump, which it does. And then I make, actually, it's hard to say in hindsight whether this was a mistake. The move that I've been saying to you do in this situation is this Kosumi. This shape that keeps these two stones effectively, these guys and these guys, separated, because white now cannot connect under. There's no way that white can play under here, because white will block, black will block, white will come out, and then black will do something, some kind of jump like this. So that's the Kosumi. But obviously, contrary to my own advice, I didn't do that. I just simply jumped, which in this case I don't think was such a great move, because it creates a weak group, although we've both got weak groups here. White jumps out again. I make the territory on the right hand side, leaving my two stones on the K line, 17, 15K, a little bit weak, and I was expecting white to attack at this point, and there comes the attack. So I need to make some shape for those stones. So rather than trying to make them live independently, I actually decided to make use of the attach under. Now, I'm sure you've seen this before. We've talked about this maneuver before. Effectively, black can connect these two stones, that one and that one, by sacrificing a little bit on the edge and connecting under. So I played here, but then white just actually let me connect. So I pushed out. So it means that black gives up on this stone. This stone becomes a lost stone for now, but black is connected out and under. So white sits on top, black jumped, white attached, black pushed again, white Nobi, black Hane, white extend. Now I'm feeling pretty good about the game at this point. I think that exchange is pretty good for black, although white has got a super thick solid wall, and by a wall I mean this line of stones here is pretty thick and impenetrable now by black, and black's points on the edge, although there's only in this shape here 10 points plus the corner. So that's what I mean by a thick wall. But black gets a sente, so I approach the lower left corner. White comes out. I make a knight move, he made a knight move, he came out again, and I strengthened out the corner. I was prepared to risk white coming in somewhere like here or here or here in order to strengthen that territory on the right hand side. And then white made the big shape point. This is a big shape point because you can now see how the wall that white created up here is now starting to work with this wall here to build this large territory, right, very tall deep territory including the corners, out into the center of the board. That's what's going on there. So I made another shape move, and I think I'm actually ahead on points at this point. And white came out, and I made one more move to secure all of the territory. So this area here, if we give it a quick count, if we kind of go 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 3, 4, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in that direction, and in this direction it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There's 80 points there. I mean, boxes on the Go board are hugely powerful. Can you see how that 8 point by 10 gives you 80 points plus 2 corners, 20 points each? There's 100 points for white on that board if all of that becomes white's territory. Meanwhile, down the side here, black is enclosing 3 lines. Now we know the Go board is 19 lines, so down this side is 19, 19 and 90. That's 57 points. So if white gets that territory and the corners, then it's game over for black. So white attached. I pushed it once so that stone couldn't be caught. Black made a bad move. As we know, this is our famous, our dear friend, the empty triangle. So I made one more shape move and one down here just to secure that lower side territory. And then we had some of these exchanges, and I'm looking for a sente now. And I think this is my sente move. Now I've got to play one more. And that was it. At that point I went, okay, I've got to come in now, because once more we can see white has got this thick wall here and this thick wall. Another move by white, if white hadn't have played there, actually the move by white would have been somewhere like here or that kind of area. And I think white was maybe a little bit hesitant. It was so urgent for black now to get this move in. Now when we do these kind of invasions, what I'm doing is, because I'm coming out high, I'm on the 5th line, E10 is way high on that stone. What I'm not trying to do is live locally. I'm not trying to make a life here. It's what we call I'm not trying to make a life in that area, otherwise I'd have to go deeper and attach. What we're trying to do here is what we call it's like a smash and grab raid. I'm aiming to get in and then get out. And actually just by, so I'm not going to try and make a living group in there. I'm simply going to run out through this gap in this direction, but in doing so destroy that territory for white. So white makes a thick shape. I have one cutting point that I can exploit in this, so I jump all the way out, because notice there is an Atari cutting point here or here for black where I can cut an Atari a stone, and so my eye's on that point. White comes in between. I make the cut. I know that white will play that and protect it. Yes, he does. So then I can sit on top of this stone. So that's the aim here. White Ataris. I can give up that stone as light because I get this Atari, which white will protect, and then I can push. I could have maybe Atari'd here, but if I'd have Atari'd at this point here, white would have run out and I've still gone back to protect. And when you're doing this kind of invasion, you've got to move fast, really fast. So white protected the stone, which I was fine with, so I could make a Kosumi to start to give my stone some shape. And I'm really still aiming to get out here as fast as I can, and so destroy the territory mostly below, destroy the territory in this area of the board, and I think white will still get some territory. But if I can hold on to my territory and get out in the middle, then it's a one game. So white threatens me. So the threat there was this cut to destroy my shape. If I'd have not connected, white could have Atari'd here and then pushed up. So I protected there, white blocks, then I jump. I could have maybe jumped earlier, but then white threatens to cut through, so I have to connect. Starting to get a bit heavy. White protects the territory on that side, which I'm fine with, and I'm now thinking I can get out of here. I can actually do some more damage on the right hand side, so I do the descent move to actually put some real pressure on, because that cutting stone now is a vital stone because it's separating these stones from these stones, and this is better than I could have hoped for at this stage in the game. So white comes down, I honey once, white extends, and I turn. I turn because I'm still slightly worried about white playing in this kind of area, somewhere around here or here, and leaving my black stones chopped out. So we turn once to make a wall, and we can jump 2 spaces from a 2-stone wall. So once I've got these 2 stones in place here, I can jump 2 spaces, so it's speeding up. The aim of this turn here was to make my jump faster by coming out. And now white tries to block my exit, and the fight is on. We're now into the mid game where we're both improvising, we're both reading the board as it comes at us. So I come inside. I want to isolate this white stone if I can, but I've got a mind that I can't risk a disconnect between those stones, otherwise all of my black stones will die and the invasion will have been a failure. So white cuts. This is now live reading, so I Atari once and white comes that way, and so then I push. Because of the presence of this stone, I thought that white wouldn't be able to Atari and disconnect that stone, and therefore the white stone here would be caught and get lost. But let's see what happens. So white comes down, so black comes down. So these 2 white stones have now got 3 liberties, and they jump. I had to assume that this group was going to live, and that this group is alive, and I've got to stop these stones connecting, because if these white stones in this area connect, then the black stones here, the A stones, are just going to die. They will just die, and it's resign game at that point. White has got that huge territory in the centre plus the prisoners. So I jumped and attached there. White made a shape move. I connected. White blocked because I felt I could cut. White Atari. I come out. White stops me cutting, and then another Kosumi shape move. White has got to live inside now. White's now committed. White is cut off from any friendly white groups, and so white's got to live locally. So white makes this shape move. So I didn't like this move because of this push. And this block, if black doesn't block there, if black plays here, then white kills the stones and connects out. So that can't be allowed to happen. So black has got a block here, but I was worried about this and then this. That's what I was worried about. So I made the Kosumi move, white made the shape move, and then I connected there to avoid all of that stuff happening. So now white makes this move, and I make this move because I've got to keep these stones connected to here. But this is opening up for white the potential to attack into that corner there. And in the corner we know we can make 2 eyes fairly quickly, fairly fast, fairly easily because of the corner. So I can't let white into that corner. So white goes for the corner. Perfect move by white. If the next move by white is to play at R17, this point here, then white's pretty much alive and his invasion will have been a success, and all of the black stones on the top side will be looking a bit troubled. So I decided to attach here, And the sequence that I was looking at here is I thought if white hanes here, I can cut, white takes, I Atari, white takes, and I connect. So even though white lives in the corner and can make a living group by something like this, and I give up some points in the corner, I get to kill this white group, and so I consider this a success for black. So I've exchanged some points in the corner, but that's not what white did. White came here, he came up, so I came up, so the corner's intact now, and then white came here. I descended, white descended. I came inside. With hindsight, I think this was a mistake. I think this move was a mistake, and I think the move for black would have been here, because that's threatening to connect out under here. But if white comes down at that point, then black can make this shape, and that's now white has only got one eye. White will only have one eye when those two stones die, because white will have to fill in all of the points around here in order to Atari those stones. So in the game I played here, which was a mistake, so white cut. I couldn't spend a move now. I didn't have the speed to do this, because white would come here and take the two stones, take the one stone, take this stone off the board, and then definitely have two eyes. So my intention here was to take the two stones, and then white makes an eye. And again, this was a mistake by black. The move by black should have been here, because then this stops white making eyes again. It opens up this as a cutting point. If white plays here, black simply plays here, and none of this works. Sorry, if white plays there, black takes here, and now this isn't an eye, and there's no eye for white here. So this would have been a killing outcome for black. I hope I'm being explicit here. So this is where we are in the game. White cut, I took the two white stones, white made an eye, then I let this move go. I should have played at S14 and that move there, and that would have because these stones would have been alive because of the death of these two, then this would no longer be an eye, and white would only have the one eye there. No other eye is possible for white. White came here, I came here, and then white made a second eye. So now white's alive. So this is a bit of a turn back in the game. So the game has just shifted so that white's invasion, black's invasion here is a success because black's got in and out again, but white's invasion is a success. And black makes this move. Once white's alive, this is an urgent move, because if black doesn't play here, if black plays something, I don't know, like this, then once white plays here, all of the black stones in the center, all of these guys are all cut off and in real trouble, and I can't allow that to happen. So I have to spend a move to make that play, and that connects, kills the two white stones on OP10 and makes sure that the black center, the invasion's connected. I didn't handle this very well, but white harned. I should have just harned back. I should have harned back here, although white could have done this, and then we have a ko here. In the event, let's get back to the game. I came this way and white played. That was a bad move. It was a bad move by me, because it meant that white was connected underneath. So then I started this attack. So this attack was one of the key attacks in the game. So I'm looking at this shape here, and the shape is this white group is, can I disrupt and destroy its eye space, because it's now encircled by black. Black is all continuous. Can I shatter it? So the vital point, and sometimes we look at a group of stones and we say, what's the vital point in this? Notice that black can always cut an Atari either here or here, so there's a forcing move for black here, but the vital point is that one. So I played at the vital point and white came under. So the black stone's got 3 liberties. So I now push once for an Atari, which I knew white would answer, otherwise the black stones connect, and white connects. So black turns Atariing again, and white comes out, and then black comes out, and this was a very scary liberty race now, because the black stones have only got 3 liberties. This black group has got 1, 2, 3. So white came out again, obviously, because if white doesn't come out there, black will turn at this point and take the 2 white stones and connect everything and shatter white's shape. So white connects and black comes out again, and now black has got 4 liberties, and this involves some reading by me, but white came on the outside, and it looks like those black stones are dead. It looks like these guys have absolutely no chance, but there is one move that's key here, and black played here. Now what we have to notice is that white cannot play here. If white plays here, black's now got 2 liberties. Black will push here, Ataring the stones, and if white connects, black kills and takes all of those stones off. Let's just see that again. And that, I needed to read that out from about this point to see that if white blocks here, black pushes out, and now black has got 3 liberties and white has got 2. So if white blocks, black, white, black, it doesn't work because of the 3 liberties, because black's now got 3 liberties. So I knew that white at this point would descend, but because of the shape here, the black stones can live. So black pushes, white cannot connect, so white Atari is on the outside, black blocks, white takes and pushes. Now there's something really quite important here, which is that the tendency often for beginners is to block directly like this, but then white would get this cut and we get this ko, and white could come up with a ko threat, I don't know, maybe this ko threat, which then threatens to push back and connect all of those stones. So this wasn't a ko, and sometimes we don't need to fight those kos. So what black did was make one more move. Now notice if white pushes here, black Ataris, white fixes, and then black connects. And so by playing an extra stone, by backing off, you get stronger shape. And what we're trying to do here is make sure that we've got strong, solid shape. So black backed off, white recognised the problem, makes an eye, black connects. And so white is now chopped into 2, but there's still some more fighting to go. So white cuts, and that cut has cut these stones out of the corner, away from these stones. That's the cutting point. So this cut here has separated black into 2 groups, but black is fighting with liberties. So black Ataris here, and white plays here. Now notice that black cannot connect here because of what's called shortage of liberties. It's known as damezamari in Japanese. If black connects here, white would play here, threatening to connect these stones to these stones. But if black fills, white kills. So that sequence is unplayable for black. So at this point, when white wedges in, black has to give up the 2 stones and make the take like this. And so giving up something in order to get something bigger is absolutely classic Go. This is what Go is all about as a game, and white secures those. That's a very passive move by white, but that's what's happened. So this is now looks like a 1 game for black. It looks like a 1 game because despite white's invasion succeeding over here in the top right hand corner, black has now not only got this invasion into white's territory and out, but killed these two white groups in the center. So black extended to make sure that this group was going to die, that it had no chance of breaking out and causing mischief, and then white invaded the corner. And I handled this very badly. It was quite sloppy by me. I blocked the outside first, and white hardied under. And now I should really have blocked the corner by playing either here or here. Probably here. So then if white comes down, I block the corner, and it's very difficult then for white to try and make two eyes in this area of the board. But we all know when we play in Go that we get lost in the moment. So black played there, and I extended once in this direction. I was worried about the cutting points around here or here, or needlessly. I was needlessly worried about cutting points. So white makes a shape move in the corner, and that gives white one eye, and I came on the outside, and then white made a second shape move, and so I blocked it, and then white makes this. Now white's got two eyes, but I can set up a ko. And white makes the ko, so I take the ko, and this then becomes the crucial ko fight in the game, where we exchange some territories. So white plays this as a ko threat. So the ko threat over on the left hand side here is threatening to take off the black stone and connect all the white stones together. So black connects to make sure that the white stones are dead, and white takes back the ko. And so black plays this ko threat, which is threatening to, if white doesn't answer, connect here. Black will connect and kill the second eye, so all of the white stones in the top right will die. So white answers that, and I take back the ko. And then white makes this threat, which is to connect and pull out the white stones in this area of the board. To pull these stones out and connect them, and then break into black's area that way. So I block, and white takes the ko. So I now threaten to push in and Atari this stone and kill these stones and expand that area of black's territory. It may not have been a strong enough ko threat, but white answered, and so I took back the ko. White then played this ko threat, threatening to kill the white stones. Kill the black stones, this black group here. So I answered the threat, and white takes the ko back. So now I push here. So what black's aiming to do here is build a position that kills all of the stones, white stones in that corner, and hugely enlarges black's territory on the top side of the board. And white connects. And so black answers the ko. And then white plays this one. Now I'm running out of ko threats. I'm seriously running out of ko threats, and white still has ko threats on the board. And I decided that actually, even though they were separated, that this black group had enough shape to make two eyes, and that this black group had enough shape to make two eyes as well. So even if white descended between them at N18, they could both live independently. In the event, it was a bit naive because one lives and one dies, but I decided to ignore that ko threat and take here. So I've ended the ko threat in the lower right hand corner. White is now dead in the lower right area, and this is all black's territory. This is all black's territory out here, but now we have this fight. So white descends, black descends, white hane. Black made a shape move. It's probably a mistake again. This was probably a bad move. I think, could black have done this? If white cuts here, black cuts here, and I don't think white's got a move. It was just a mistake. This was a bad mistake. I should have just connected there, and then it's game over. There's nothing white can do here and so on. It was just an error. When white harneyed, I misread and I made that jump, so white takes that shape, so I have to block there. Now white comes down here. I'll make a shape move to try and get some eyes here, and then white attacks the corner. All of this shouldn't have happened. So I Atari, white connects, I block again, white connects. Now I think I've got two eyes in the corner. I've certainly got one eye here. That's one eye. And I think I've got a second eye in that area, but we shall see. But my problem now is this group over here. What's going to happen here? Is this group going to die? So I make what I think are two solid eyes in the corner. I can make what I think are two solid eyes in the corner. And white comes down here. And now I'm going to make two eyes here. So I make this shape here. And this is why we do Sumigo. This is why we do life and death problems, because this is what they involve. Now white pushes here. Now notice that if black blocks here, white can throw in once here. Black can take the ko, but then white can Atari here, black here, and then white here. And then again, black, this becomes a co-liberty, and we've got a co-fight for life. So that sequence, so black did come down to block, and white threw in, and black took the ko. And this is black's, and this is white's co-thread. Now the co-thread, I thought I was absolutely solid and secure in the corner. But that was the co-thread. If I answer that co-thread by taking white off here, I live here, but then white gets this move. And black cannot connect here because white takes here. So black is left to fight, and black, if black plays here, white simply plays here again, and we've still got this ko for life. And again, I think white has got too many ko threads. So after white's ko there, I connected here to make sure that this group, the group in the center of the board, was alive, because I still thought that I could fight this one out and hold the group together in the corner. But white takes here. Now black has only now got one eye. So I push there, threatening to cut in, and white blocks, and then I take the ko. But then white makes this move, which puts this whole black group here into Atari if I don't take. So black took. So now this black group in the top middle center is alive. It can't be killed, but the ko is back on. And now it looks like black is going to lose the whole of the top right hand corner. So I push out, and white connects. So now the black group in the top right hand corner, because notice this is now a false eye because of the presence of the stone on either side of it. So black has only got one eye in that corner. Black's dying in the upper right. So I try and make a second eye here, but white takes it away by pushing in there, making that a false eye. So I try and connect, and white simply plays this move, because white has got enough liberties for this fight. So I Atari, I play here, it's not an Atari, to connect, because I've got to give that corner up, and white takes, and the corner disintegrates. This is a co-threat. White ignores the co-threat and destroys the corner. I play the co-threat, but it's not much of a co-threat. It's just not much. Now we get this move. So we've just had a big exchange of territories. The black group in the center here, the top center, is alive, but it's alive with 4 points. White has completely annihilated the upper right hand corner, and black's just got the lower left corner but has killed the invasion here. But it's looking like this is a very finely balanced game again. So black pushes, white takes the ko. It's not an urgent move for black, so black can turn and Atari once and then here and then wedge in. Now taking the ko, it doesn't matter. Black's been caught. Black's caught in a net. So black cuts here, white takes, black jumps. White kind of goes, yeah, there's nothing going on there. So black attaches, and white attaches, and black makes shape, and white comes down. This is all a bit forlorn by black. It needed a bad mistake by white for this to come off. It would have brought the game back to balance. But as you can see, this was the sequence. And white-black here just doesn't have enough liberties. There's just not enough liberties for black to fight this at all. So black's now down to 4 liberties. Let's count them out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are the only 4 liberties that black's currently got. White has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Which means that black's going to die before white. So white took a liberty off black. Black turned to take a liberty off white inside. So black has now got 3 liberties on the outside, but white has got 4 on the inside. Black's down to 2. White's down to 3. Black's in Atari. Black tries to make a living shape inside, but white destroys that shape. And now there's only one eye in the corner, and black's dead on the outside. So everything black there is dead. So black takes this ko, white plays a ko threat, black takes, white takes, black realises there's no point in fighting this ko, white connects, black pushes, black makes a living shape. These are now the endgame moves. The game is over and we're down to who's got the most territory. Final endgame moves. And there we are. And the score at the end was black by 8.5. So despite this loss to the upper right, despite that destruction of black's corner and the very forlorn invasion up on the left hand side, black's territory with these captures in the centre and actually winning the ko in the lower right actually was bigger than white and so overwhelmed, and so that's how the game ended. It was a tough fight, it was a fairly brutal fight, but that was the end of it. It was what it was. It was a great game of Go. I don't quite feel I've done it justice in this review. It was exciting and thrilling all the way through, and there we are. So lots of ko's, classic Go, lots of fighting, territory exchanges, invasions, sacrifice, all of that, all of the thrill and drama of a Go game. Particularly for me, the exciting bit was reading out the death of this centre group. I think white did a fabulous job with some help by me in establishing this group and then annihilating the corner. With hindsight, I should have kept the corner and let white annihilate this group. It was forlorn of me to think that I could keep both alive, having exchanged the move by white, ignored the ko threat to knock out the lower right hand corner, but I think that the lower right hand corner was also huge. It was probably worth about 20 points to me. So that was the game. Okay guys, I'll leave it there. I hope you've enjoyed that. I hope that's given you some sense of the drama of that Go game. If you like the way I explain, if you like the way I teach, if you like what I'm doing on 10 Minutes to Go, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, it helps bring traffic. I'm not looking to monetize this. I don't do anything around money in Go outside of the professional game. I believe that money has got nothing to do with Go. We should love this game purely for the what it brings to us as players. Anyway, that'll do for now. See you soon. Thanks a lot guys. Bye.